All right, let's do this second portion of Kingsmead. This road basically starts next to my flat. All right, that's Hilton Hotel there. That's Nedbank. It's a Friday, so it's a busy day, sure. It's Stenger Road, I think. It's Stenger Road. So what do we do here? Okay, what do we do here exactly? I'm here. Should I be going back down there? Because that's the robot where I'm supposed to go. Because that's the other section where I go next to the Durban ICC. Or do I start here? Let me start here because I'm already here. Okay. I stay further down the road on the other side. The road goes to the harbour. That's Hilton, that's Nedbank, that's SABC, Ukhozi FM. This is where Black Radio started. You see, I showed you Alfort on the other side. That's where South Africa or SADC got captured by the English. So everything begins here in Durban. So this is where Black Radio started via Radio Bantu, which became Radio Zulu, and today called Ukhozi FM. Kingsmead Cricket Stadium. So these are the guys who taught all blacks of South Africa radio, the Zulus. All blacks of South Africa were taught radio by Zulus. Thank you. So that's this road, which was called Oldford Road, is now called K.E. Masinga Road. K.E. Masinga. And we're doing Kingsmead, né? So we are still in Kingsmead. This place is huge, guys. Kingsmead is huge. It's not as crazy and chaotic as it is today. It's a Friday. So it's like Park Town, but it's a Park Town which is within the CBD here in Durban, because it's not off the city. It's still within the city. There's my building there appearing. I stay in that not tallest, but the second tallest apartment block. All right, and then this is basically SABC, and you've got the guy who owns a lot of property here in Durban. His offices are in that convention house. Yeah, there. All right, let's go across. There's Hoy. Okay, Hoy Park. There it is. I've never seen this. Basically, these buildings there. Check. I've never seen this. Hoy Park members. Okay, there. That's UNISA. This is all the sports codes there, which the Durban municipality, stupid Zulus who are working for white liberals of Cape Town and Johannesburg, and also for Indians, and giving Indians of Durban all the business, all the tenders. Thus the advent of Muslim Indians, and therefore the importation of new blacks from Islamic countries to replace Zulus. Now, this park is at the center of the war between the municipality and true Durbanites. White folk have been trying for many years to fight for this area. What the ANC dumb Zulu sellouts, self-haters are doing is to sabotage these areas. Today they've filled that area with a lot of soccer players. Those idiots never fought for that park. They are being fronted by their ANC. Why? Hey, this is the park for everybody. But who is everybody? Is everybody about replacing other sports codes which are played by other races? If blacks have chosen to play only soccer, whose fault is it? All right, so the other sport codes they die for soccer. Everything must become soccer all of a sudden. And then why is the ANC fronting them, these soccer idiots? They are fronting them because the ANC wants all these parks gone. They want all these parks to be gone. They want to build. The construction mafias, the real ones, not... Angithi Tamintuli fought with Delangok Bona as puppets of whites that he is. but the actual construction mafias are white and Indian. Okay, we saw Road Lodge at the beginning of Kingsmead on the other side. Now this is the famous City Lodge. People love this hotel. And then this is the new hotel, Onomo Hotel, which is a brand from Senegal. You don't see Senegalese loitering the streets of Durban. These are investors, not the Nigerians feeding drugs to our tertiary Zulu or black South African kids and destroying all of us and calling themselves African or I love Africa whatsoever, by killing their own blacks, empowering the very white people who brought them here. All right, let's do less politics. This is the Onomo. I'm still in Kingsmead. I was saying on the other corner that the guy who owns a lot more hotels, he's Jewish, not hotels, buildings in Durban, who's been waiting for Durban to do the right thing so that he can actually then invest the monies that he seeks to invest into the city. That's the Jewish Holocaust Center there. But this is not Kingsmead now. All right, so let's not go outside Kingsmead because we've spoken about Regal Inn and the likes, but I'm just showing you which is this K.E. Masinga Alford Road ends where. So you saw down the road, it has got the Alford Park, and then in this side it's got the Jewish Holocaust Center. Behind there is a fake refugee center. You can ask the Jews what are they doing with that refugee center. Onomo Hotel. Ask the Jews in their social engineering with white liberals as to what are they doing with that fake refugee center. All right. K.E. Masinga is Kingsmead. It ends there by the beach, so we're not going there. That's North Beach. We're sticking to Kingsmead. All right. I think this is NMR. It's now called Sylvester Ntuli, because the other one was Stenger Road, surely. See how beautiful those quiver trees are, Papa. Very beautiful. This hotel is old. The City Lodge, still in Kingsmead. We're still in Kingsmead. This is North Beach. A very beautiful street. I love the most. This one. But this time around, like I said, Durban has not looked after the parks nicely. It's a bit unkempt. So you can see now this one is City Lodge. So I'm taking a shooter. That's City Lodge. Right. Right. And then we go this side. Okay, so at this point, let's just say Kingsmead ends where? Because this is River Town now. That's the River Town. So Kingsmead ends here. City Lodge. This is River Town. It's not Kingsmead. All right. Look at these two huge police stations. South African Police Service Provincial Head Office. The whole provincial head office right here. Just check that. And then you go only 2 streets away, it's drug lords. Just 2 streets away, they can see from this building that there's drug lords. They can see. But they are facilitating them. All these are sellouts. All these are punks selling our country. That's the UNISA which was built and then suddenly sold. 5 years down the line, the Zimbabwean owners of UNISA, University of South Africa, is owned by Zimbabweans. Oh God, the white liberals have got a horrible agenda against black South Africans, I'm telling you. it is nothing but genocide. It's just that they cannot basically do the actual genocide in this age, but it is a genocide. Okay, we are not here to videorize river town. So this, I'm just showing you the UNISA there. We are still in Kingsmead on this side, but across it is river town. All right. Eben Lime, see that writing, Eben Lime. We were walking there where those guys are coming through. That's UNISA, the blue roof, the original UNISA, and this is the building which was supposed to be the UNISA extension, and then it got sold all of a sudden. This is the Rivertown precinct. So all this is Rivertown. All right. So how far? All right, we counted these ones as well under Rivertown. So we are in Kingsmead, this side, but this across is Rivertown. But the Hilton is Kingsmead. Okay, this McCarthy VW car dealership is basically designed the same way as the Pinetown one. They were kind of like designed, or rather built the same period. I think it's 10 years now. As car dealerships tried to basically invest in Durban. That's Durban ICC there. This is the exit to the N3, the one which we joined down there at the robot. So when you are here, you are already on the N3. So that's how you exit Durban to go straight to the N3 here. That's Nedbank again. We saw Nedbank on it. That's Ukozi FM, SABC. We came from that direction. There's a tiny ups on this side. Okay. Durban ICC. We said this is Rivertown. Durban ICC, we said it is Kingsmead. So we started at the corner there. So we're finishing off now the second portion of Kingsmead. Very beautiful Nedbank there. In essence, at the robot there, that's where M2, or is it M4? M4, that's where M4 ends when you're coming from the north coast. So you see it ends there as M4, and then it becomes the N3, because this is now N3. All right, that's where we were. And then when you are going to M4, this is how you exit M4. That's how you enter from M4, etc. All right. So we saw Eben Lime, the name of that building. That's the guy who owns most of these buildings, or many, not most, many of these buildings. Ambassador House is his property, so I can see he's leasing it to Palmerston Hotel. All right, let's go across. Those two black cars there have got no respect for people who walk on foot. They just come as though they own the robot. It's a black woman, and then it's a black male. I usually say I understand why taxi operators press themselves through lanes. Small car drivers are the most selfish pigs on the road. I observe this all the time when I'm inside the taxi or even the bus. So yeah, for taxis to be able to transport us, they need to force themselves and squeeze them in by force. There's no other way. As you can see, they just come straight to me even when I'm crossing, because they want to pass. Their road is theirs. So we're at the Durban CC now. We're still in Kingsmead. So there's a lot of these quiver trees. Durban is designed for success. The failure of Durban is those Zulu ANC black sellouts. Those punks. Okay, they're supposed to fix all these paving. You see, a person on a wheelchair is supposed to go down there. All right. So a lot of things show ukuthi imali ayikho idliwe. So this is the actual Durban International Convention Center. That's the major front thereof. That's the main entrance, and that's the Hilton Hotel, which is struggling to perform thanks to the poor management of these areas by those folk. All right. So now it becomes difficult for a hotel like this to operate profitably if they can't operate this complex profitably. It affects the hotel, and then the next thing they terrorize them to say they will close the hotel if they don't actually reopen it. They had to reopen, but how much money have they made? What are they doing as the municipality? Because they are destroying the whole city themselves with their foreigners and all those people that they've placed there at key areas of the city. How you protect Nigerian drug lords to the detriment of your city, I don't understand the thinking. Anyway, so this is Kingsmead, that's Nedbank, that's Hilton Hotel, that's the Durban ICC. Very beautiful projects. Look how beautiful Durban is from this angle. Just look how beautiful this place is. We're not going around there, but I need to because I want to show. Okay, we'll show this angle from the other side. Let's go down here. Let's go down here. Look at the beauty of the plants and everything. A beautiful structure, very beautiful area, and then horrible sellouts. They are not poor in managing. They are not terrible. They are not bad in management. They are thieves. They're stealing. They can manage all things to profitability if they wanted to. They've got all the capacity to do so. They can. So now, how do you fail to maintain this beauty? Look how beautiful it is. Although it's dry because they're no longer watering. And I'm also trying to understand the issue of water shortages in Durban as to be part of the reason why there is very little watering of grass in the CBD, because they are not watering the parks at all. And then the rain is not raining. The rain is not raining. We went that direction. So now we are here. That's still Nedbank. They added that part, and then the next thing they were selling themselves. I don't know what's wrong with those Johannesburg punks, because they are the ones who take these decisions. There's an opportunity I see here to make these areas to be interactive and not dead areas if there are no conferences. It shouldn't be like that, so I don't know what's the problem. I think they can utilize this exhibition center far better than there. So that's the main entrance of the Hilton Hotel in Durban. The failure of the municipality in the city center is the cause of poor performance of this hotel. It's not their duty to actually make Durban to be attractive to tourists. It is the duty of the municipality. But the municipality has prioritized Nigerian drug lords and illegal immigrants on behalf of white and Indian construction mafias and retail operators, who always want to fleece people of the very little money that they are earning. People who believe in slavery. They don't have to mention the word. I mean, if that Zulu guy is telling me Uguti, they promised, they when he was recruited, I met him 2 weeks ago. The Indian owners of that company, which is guarding by the beaches, sort of, it's an Indian again. Yeah, it's not a Zulu owner, it's Indian. And BEE here in Durban is Indian, as per those Zulu punks. It's Indian, so everything is Indian. Every tender is Indian. That's why then Delangokbona was established. Then comes that man, the teacher from Kandla, and fights for the same Indians. Sus. Alright. That Zulu man, what they did to him is this. They recruited him, he told me 2 weeks back, or was it last week, when I was doing that tour of Essenwood, of Musgrave Road. They recruited him and promised him a salary of 3,800 rand per month. That's what security guards are earning in Durban, 3,800 rand per month. That is very little money. Right? So despite the 3,800 rand a month, then when it gets close to his payment, the Indians sent the Zulu supervisor, because it's always the Zulu security guards on behalf of Indians and whites who always get sent to destroy their own Zulu brothers. To now tell the person who's earning 3,800 that they will be given only 2,500. Take it or leave it. If you don't want, you can leave now. What? So, instead of the little 3,800, this Indian BEE beneficiary of the ANC is going to pay this person, this Zulu, my Zulu brother, 2,500. They tell him to leave the job. His friends, he stays in those horrible slums, Kennedy Road areas. His friends, and I don't blame them, they tell him to leave the job. And I say to him, no, don't. You know what, I am seeing a strategy here. Those are black foreigners there, the Malawians. Okay, so I'm basically seeing a trend, basically here. What's the trend that I'm noting? This route goes to the workshop. It would have been a very beautiful route to walk. They would have made these kind of buildings to be even more, or rather the decor to that regard. They would have done that, so they haven't done that. So they would have basically done what? Oh, so I'm basically continuing with that with the story. I'm done with that story of what they could have done in this space. That's the Durban ICC, the site. They want to cut his money from the measly 3,800 per month to the paltry 2,500 rand. To the paltry 2,500 rand. And then on top of the 2,500 rand that they are telling him they will give him, or he must leave the job. He had already worked some 3 weeks or 2 weeks. On top of that, they are saying on the 2,500 rand, they are going to deduct something like 500 or 800 for the training that was offered him from the 2,500. So which basically therefore leaves him with something like 1,800 or something like that. So what is happening in there, black South Africans? This is slavery trade in broad daylight done by Indians who are beneficiaries of the ANC, and then they run to the DA after that. After they keep on basically abusing black South Africans all the time. They don't see Zulu people as empowered by Zulu leaders who protect Indians. So now, you are promised a little amount of money, which is basically 3,800 rand, and then on that 3,800 rand, then they cut it, they decide to cut it to 2,500, Now, after cutting it to 2,500, then they demand to take 800 out of that 2,500 for training. And then they call us lazy. And then the Inkatha Freedom Party protects those people. The ANC Zulus protect those people. Of course, the DA will protect them. That's what they brought them for. Whites and Indians came here to make money. Thank you. So that's what is happening to that guy. And then here's the greater picture that you're not seeing. Okay, as I finish this story, here's the greater picture. What they're doing here is they are making people to work for free and not pay them. But they've worked. Check this. There's a lot of people who are applying for security jobs. So any day they've got thousands of people they can place into those jobs. So they take a person, make him work, terrorize him within 2 or 3 weeks so that he gives up and leaves the job. They don't pay him for the money that he has worked for that period, or they give him little compared to what was meant to be paid. But he has signed as having come to work, and then they in the documents would be signing as if they've paid that person, whereas the money has gone back to the Indian employer and then some portion given to that Zulu sellout who's helping that Indian to abuse his fellow Zulus. That is what is happening even in politics in this country, every day, through and through. So how much money are Indian security guard owners and Boer security guard owners and their politicians making out of abusing black South African security workers? And therefore, what happens now when they replace them with these black foreigners? It gets worse. So the fraud that is happening in the security industry is huge. The Department of Labor, ANC punks, they only receive bribery money and don't care about our Zulus who are walking 20 kilometers to work to earn 1,800 rand a month and be called lazy by Indians who've got a right to then shoot and massacre them and get away with it and nobody cares, etc., etc. I can say it safely about Zulu leaders who are helping all these races to do this to our people. Hell awaits you. Thank you.